Okay, class, let's take a look. So basically, class, if you still remember, okay, previously we have already finished 6 paramit, which is consists of the dana paramit, sila paramit, and then is the patience, then the virya, diligence, then samadhi and the prajna. We all finished. Now we go to the bodhisattva. Basically, there's totally 52 stages of the bodhisattva. So we almost gone through. Actually now in previous lesson we stopped at the ground. Let's take a look now. You see, so in the verse number 191, it mentioned that the Bodhisattva, by keeping the precept complete and pure, enters the undefiled grounds. So this is quite short, but let's take a look at the verse 190. In the verse 190, let's take a look. It's about, you see, upon it's the 10 grounds, remember, so in Mandarin it's a 10, upon entering the first ground, that of extreme joy, the Bodhisattva is born into the Tathagata family. Having cut the 3 bonds, such a Bodhisattva has the supreme virtue of giving. See or not? So meaning to say that, at the ground, so I think if you remember, we call us Xing Zhu Xing Hui Xia is speaking with the 10 faith, then dwell, then Xing Zhu Xing, the activity, Xing Zhu Xing Hui Xia, transference, and the last one is the ground. Basically, the grounds, the Bodhisattva in the ground, they are considered sages. We have done the comparison before. Basically, ground number 7, number 8, the wisdom is equivalent with Arahant. 4th stage Arahant is almost equivalent. If we talk about the merit accrued by the Arahant, just in a very stage, maybe in the faith only. This is the reason why you can hardly find the Arahant to give up the effort to restart again, accrue the merit from the fifth. Because from the fifth to the 10 ground, you need 2 eon kapao. It's very long already. So basically, you can hardly to find the Arahant to transfer from the small vehicle to the great vehicle. It's quite hard. Let's take a look. So this is about the 10 ground. So we mentioned here, you see, the 10 ground, also called the 10 abiding ground, or 10地. You see, here according to say, first ground is the joy or extreme joy. All got name one. Basically, most of the name you are able to find in the Buddhism terminologies. You see, once you enter the first ground, born into the Tathagata family, you are in the Tathagata family already. Then next, let's take a look. It's still mentioned initial ground. Then it's the second ground. Second ground is the pyramid of the precept. Basically, it is in the pyramid of precept, second ground already. So in this stage, you see, they attain the complete purity of physical, verbal, and mental karmas. All is purified. Verse number 116. Can you check for me what is the sutra mentioned here? Verse 116, please. What's the reference? Mm. 116, what's the reference? On the mic, please, Elena. So class, always remember, you have to familiar with all this. What it mentioned, what ground Bodhisattva basically refer to Hua Yan Jing or Tamsaka. Or remember there's one, we call it Bodhisattva necklace sutra, remember? All this, so you please be familiar with all the sutra. So once you do the chanting, at least you know what. I think maybe what what do you learn here is helpful in your chanting. Maybe you know, oh, I discovered in the Dharma class. Maybe that's the most you can do. Because sometimes this Bodhisattva, I can hardly relate to the real example for you, you know. For me, just for Dharma talk only. I don't know what the correct example. So sometimes we have, this is, I tell you, what is the privilege and also the shortcoming for all this. Okay. So we go to the next verse. It's about what you see. 192. Okay, Sally, can you please read the passage? Okay.
As at the radiant ground, a bodhisattva with superior patience attains the wisdom that eliminates all darkness. In the descriptions of virtues of practice in the various grounds, two courses of practice are combined. In the first, in which the practice of 10 grounds correspond to that of the 10 parameters. The first 6 grounds are the grounds for giving, for precept keeping, for patience, for diligence, for concentration, and for wisdom. The second cause of the first 3 grounds are the grounds for giving, for precept keeping, and for concentration. This rely on the mental activity of the great vehicle to practice the worldly good dharmas that are shared with the 5 vehicles. The fourth, fifth, and sixth grounds are the grounds for practicing the 37 grades of the way. For the fourth truths and for the dependent origination. This rely on the mental activity of the great vehicle to practice the worldly good dharma that are shared in common with the 3 vehicles. Because of these different causes, there are minor differences in the items of practice in the third, fourth, and fifth grounds. These are only skillful explanations for the sake of establishing the levels of the 10 grounds. Actually, bodhisattvas of every ground have to practice all doctrines completely. The minor differences between the 2 courses do not affect the objective. The 6 grounds and their respective virtues and practices may be summarized as follows. The first ground, superior giving, practice giving. Second ground, superior keeping of the precepts, practice the 10 good deeds. Third ground, superior patience, practice meditation. Fourth ground, superior diligence, practice the grades of the way. Fifth ground, superior concentration, practice the 4 truths. Sixth ground, superior prajna, practice dependent origination.
Okay, thank you. Let us just digest first. Okay. Okay, let me change the color of property bar. Okay. I don't know how to change. Never mind, I used to the color. It's okay lah. Okay, class, basically, all the different grounds, you will notice that you're quite familiar with the terminologies, or you learned that before. Okay, so let's take a look. You see here, according here, you say about 192, they say Bodhisattva with the superior patient. Here, basically, the 10 ground, you can see the summary here. Basically, different ground, they will try, they let us know so they complete or superior in which one stages. Okay, the first superior in giving, practice in giving, meaning to say that in the first ground, they are in the stage and they are ready to give out everything. In the Autamsaka Sutra, we notice that we heard that they are able to donate their bone marrow, their eye, whatever you need they are able to donate. And we believe in the first ground, in the giving, I think once you give it out, it may grow immediately because they are the sage already, or not the normal human being. Okay, then you see the second ground, I say is the precept 10 good deeds. Always remember that 10 good deeds is always emphasized in Mahayana Sutra. The reason is 10 good deeds is common whether there is whether the Buddha is available or not available. 10 good deeds is a safeguard for a human being, so that everybody they will abide by the rules and regulation. Without 10 good deeds, they will be a cure. They will be a chaos, the whole world. So 10 good deeds in the sutra always mention. I mean, it's very important to guard once the Buddha is not available. Okay, so always remember this is the important point. Then it's been the third one is the meditation. The fourth one is the grade of the way. Grade of the way, class, have you ever heard about 37菩提分 during the chanting? Do you feel familiar? 37 or 37菩提分. Do you feel familiar with that? Elena and Sally, are you familiar?
Not very.
37菩提分, not very familiar. How about Elena?
I mean, didn't really remember all this.
Oh, no, do you have impression with the number of 37?
Impression got.
Impression got lah.
Never mind, let me make you more let me make you more impressed. Copy down the Chinese words, then you will badly impressed. Oh, I see. Okay, please copy down. This is important. During the chanting, we keep on mention this word. Okay, the grade of the ways basically is 37菩提分 37 Bojjhanga that is in English. This is so important actually. This is a signature. I mean, 菩提分 English we call it as a Bojjhanga 37 菩提分 basically all, I mean the Dharma, how should I put it all the 5 faculty, 4 mindfulness, wherever they involve some number basically they sum up as 37. They cannot run away from the number of 37, or we call it as a Bojjhanga. Bojjhanga meaning to say that it's the element for enlightenment. So Putifen, this is enlightenment. So this is elements for enlightenment. Okay. So you notice that in Bodhisattva, it keep on mention all this is appeared actually is in 3 vehicles. In Theravada Buddhism, basically they are very emphasized on this, even though Mahayana also yes. But the problem is Mahayana, if let's say you just do the chanting sutra like Pu Men Ping, Guan Si Yin Pusa, all this, then you wouldn't know, you seldom heard about this. But I think this in 佛说阿弥陀经 they do mention 菩提分 maybe you don't realize it, okay? But if let's say, okay, if you go through the Mahayana Sutra, which is by Nagarjuna, that one they keep on mentioning, and they will have a detailed explanation. 37 Bhujanga is important part for the prajna. But just if you do the chanting, you of course you don't know. That's why you have to go to really study. Then you realize that 37 Bhujanga is important for enlightenment for both Sravaka and also Buddha. So this is here the name they're using is 37 great. I think may not be that good. This is not a common terminology. Let's see. Great of the way. Not that good, I think. So let me try to find you the better one. Buddhist Store Dictionary. Let's take a look. Yeah, Mr. Long, you can ask question first. Yes, okay.
Sifu, I think this is called the 37 enlightening factors.
Enlightenment factor. Okay, I think okay lah. So yeah, it is acceptable. Please just write down lah. Enlightenment factor, easy for you. If you talk to other don't talk this word great of what lah. I think people don't understand. I think the people don't really understand the great of the way Okay. So remember, 37 way do we got we call 4 mindfulness 4 foundation of mindfulness, then 5 faculty 5 what are power faculty all this then what else 7 qi 觉知 7 enlightenment factor also something like that. You total the Arab is 37. That's what we get 37 okay. Okay, next, let's take a look. It's about the 4 truth. It's a 四圣谛 is in the 5th ground. Have you ever came across the word 四圣谛 during the chanting? 四谛 or 四圣谛? Yes or no? Yes, so just copy it out the Mandarin. Because this is so important, if you don't learn Mandarin, nothing to learn here. See, so I think make it simple. 四圣谛 okay, let me use abbreviated abbreviated Chinese so you won't be tortured so this is not abbreviated 四圣谛 okay because if let's say you go through it still is the Taiwan edition it's printed in Taiwan I think you better learn the original character than the abbreviated 四圣谛 4 truth Okay, 四圣谛 Okay, let's take a look. So this is 四圣谛 is here. Let's see. 4 truth is about the the 5th ground 4 truth. Then the 6th ground is a superior prajna, is a dependent origination. Have you heard about 12因缘 or 缘起? Heard about Okay, so that word's very complicated. So let you suffer a little bit Okay, so the 缘起 A class, you better write out the Chinese pronunciation 四圣谛 let me write it for you Okay, like this one 四 okay English 四圣谛 something like that 四圣谛 then you can remember this Then it's a 缘起 缘起 we write in this way This is the most important thing maybe 12因缘12因缘so we call it as 12因缘12因缘12因缘。We usually say 我哋好有緣分this is the words the 緣in English we translate as condition Okay, finish 12因缘just a little bit. The important was to learn only the rest no need Okay so let's take a look. You see so we know all this already nothing much. I say 37 great Okay so we go to the next paragraph. Let's see first you see 10 grounds correspond to that of the 10 paramita Just always remember basically 10 paramita is emphasized by the Theravada Bodhisattva, not the Mahayana. For us, the Mahayana, we used to say 6 paramit. Always remember, 6度波罗蜜, so 6. 10 is only mentioned in Theravada. In Theravada, especially in Myanmar, basically, they are. We notice that there is a 10 paramit. Unfortunately, I want to tell you a piece of the bad news. Recently, the Buddhist door, they disclosed the news that quite a number of monks from Myanmar run away from the tyranny. You see, once because they try to destroy the monastery and the church, which suspected, to hide, the enemy and the rivalry. So you see, there's a few consequences. One thing is all the monks will run away. Okay, they will also I think the Buddhism in Myanmar is getting deteriorating, which is hardly expected. But one thing I feel so lucky is Burmese Buddhism, they are generous. Wherever you go there, I remember I go there, whatever I want to learn, they will just teach you. If you have the ability to learn the 40 kamatana, they just teach you all. If you're able to go through the vipassana, they just teach you all. After they teach you, then they will say, would you like to reordain again, become a Theravada, which is so-called more original or authentic? You can refuse. Okay, then you refuse. But you want to learn, they teach you. This is most important. So you see, we never expect this thing happen, Now it's happening now, in Myanmar, a lot of monks runs, So they will be deteriorating, But one thing is good is they're already spreading in the whole world already, especially in Myanmar, because they emphasize on Abhidhamma. Abhidhamma is very strict. I have a good definition, everything is very good, well structured, and the definition is have got a refined definition. So that's why a lot of intellectual they prefer a Burmese Abhidhamma and meditation method. So lucky I feel that. If let's say they are not generous, not sometimes Mahayanese monk we go there, some they will look down us. Maybe they say, you still hold the money, maybe you still eat after the noon time. But during the meditation, sometimes we can even perform better than them. We can perform better than them, So they think, how come all the Mahayanese monk can do so well better than us? It is because sometimes they will think maybe they are over particular to the nitty-gritty of the precept. The very small thing they go to look for it. But for us, as long as I keep the precept, okay, I'm no more guilty, then I can meditate already. You see, now some they think in this way, you see. But luckily, they're generous. So now the Dharma is spreading already. Because according to history, Buddhism, I think some kamatana, like the 4 elements, all this, I believe it is originated from Sri Lanka. I believe in certain extent. And the Sri Lanka Buddhism is originated from where? It's from Indian. It's really from the China in India, because the Buddhism region, it's about 200 years before Christ. I believe that. So the Mahinda, the son of the King Asoka, Mahinda, Reverend Mahinda, and his sister, they all come down to Sri Lanka. So at that time, they themselves memorized a lot of sutra, Abhidhamma. There's Abhidhamma already. They come down. Then after later on, they noticed that the thing must be put down in words. It's better. So they start to produce a lot of Tipitaka. Then until to the 5th century, there's a very famous monk. It's a Buddha Gosa, write Visuddhimagga. And the Visuddhimagga is very important to learn. And then you have to learn the Abhidhamma before the Visuddhimagga. It's a preparatory. So after this we finish, we'll go through the Abhidhamma. Which is the dream of Mr. Leong. He's asking for Abhidhamma, where Abhidhamma? So we'll go through it. Hopefully we can get more students. Not just 3 of you only, get more. But anyway, Abhidhamma in Erti is in grade 6. And grade 7 is Visuddhimagga, is the finals already. So the level is quite high, but we should get more people. Okay, so this is something I want to tell you. Class, if there is any, actually there's one organization, INEB in Thailand, they request for the donation. They try to help the Myanmar Buddhism because a lot of catastrophe and also a lot of starvation there. Just do more donation or have a look because it's a Buddhist relate just help them. Okay, so next we go to the next paragraph. Okay, of the 10 transcendence, Elena, your turn to read, please, Elena.
Of the 10 transcendences, the 3rd ground, the radiant ground, emphasizes the superiority and completion of the paramita of patience. This ground is called radiant because Bodhisattva of this 3rd ground diligently seek the Buddha Dhamma, are able to learn and retain the Dharani, and to accept and maintain all Buddha Dhammas. In addition, they diligently practice meditation, the 4 jhanas, the 4 formless concentrations, the 4 infinite concentrations. Through their learning of the Dhamma and their practice of meditation, their wisdom grows bright like a fire and dispels darkness. In deep concentration, the darkness of desire, anger, ignorance dissipate, and one's mind is bright and clear. 193. Completely diligent in cultivating the branches of enlightenment, the Bodhisattva enters the ground of blazing wisdom, in which the view of self completely disappears. With regard to the practice of the 10 paramitas, Bodhisattvas of the 4th ground have completely perfected the paramita of diligence. With regard to the practice of the Dhamma common to the 3 vehicles, the Bodhisattvas of the 4th, 5th, and 6th grounds cultivate the 37 branches of enlightenment. Because they diligently practice this, the light of wisdom shines even more brightly. All attachment to the self and to things based on selfhood become permanently extinct without any residue, like wood consumed by a fire. Thus, it is called the ground of blazing wisdom. 194. Upon entering the ground that is difficult to overcome with superior concentration, the Bodhisattva can skillfully understand all the principles of the truth. The 5th ground, called the ground that is difficult to overcome, emphasizes the superiority and completion of the paramita of concentration. With regards to the practice of the Dhamma common to the 3 vehicles, This Bodhisattva can skillfully and penetratingly understand all the principles of truth, the four truths, the two truths, and so forth. This ground is difficult to overcome because one reaches it only after undergoing the utmost difficulties. What is that which is reached? Upon having directly realized the empty nature of things earlier during the first ground, all the forms of meaningless elaboration were completely eliminated. As it is said, Prajna Paramita can extinguish all deviant views and meaningless elaborations, which lead to fundamental emptiness. However, when this Bodhisattva depart from the realization of real concentration, the form of existence also arises. At this time, there is either undifferentiated wisdom, which is attained subsequently, or wisdom that comes from skillful differentiation. Thus, it is said, skillful means is about to appear from fundamental emptiness, which describe the time when this Bodhisattva purified the Buddha world and transformed sentient beings.
Okay, thank you so much, Elena. Let's go through. The previous one is very short. Atama, please want to finish. Okay, class, let's take a look. Actually, the way I see the name is quite meaningful. Basically, for most of the Bodhisattva. Class, you see, if one was, you see a class, I see. Here, attain the wisdom eliminates all the darkness. Okay, basically, this is how Buddhism to explain the wisdom. Okay, including, in Stravaka, even though in Zen, they also keep on mentioning that a sparkle of the wisdom is enough to eliminate the darkness for the 1,000 years. Okay, why do we say so? You see or not? Okay, like Sally. Okay, Sally, if let's say the cave is in the darkness for 1,000 years, how long it takes to make it, to eliminate the darkness by using a candle? How long it takes?
If the candle is big enough, very fast, and it's just like can brighten up already.
The darkness is already been 1,000 years. Shall we light the candle for 1,000 years? No need, right?
No need.
No need. So always remember here, once we talk about the wisdom, Buddhism prefer using the light as the analogy, and the ignorance is just like a cave in the darkness. And now, recently, I noticed that Pak Aung Siado prefer use the light very much. Because two books, one is the light of wisdom, one is the light of the jhana. Sally, during meditate, I think Sally, Elena, and Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong, you all experienced the nimitta. So the nimitta is come from the jhana. We call it as the light of the jhana. Once you concentrate on your nimitta. Whereas if let's say your nimitta is already stable, you shift your nimitta and go to observe the nama rupa, then it will become the light of the wisdom. That is very wonderful. Light of wisdom even better than a light of the jhana. For most of the people, they just see light only, they cannot differentiate. But for some expertise, if they actually basically the light, you are able to see the light by yourself only. Other people cannot see, except those already open the third eye, then they're able to see. And I noticed some guy are able to differentiate the light of wisdom and the light of a jhana. They're so wonderful. It seems I think they got a different frequency, so that's why the guy are able to differentiate. So they know you are in the level of the jhana or in the level of the vipassana. They know that. Very good now. I noticed that this is something make the dharma more explainable. You see, so let's take a look. You see, so we call it the wisdom eliminates all the darkness. You see, then come again. We mentioned again one more time. You see, the ground of the blazing wisdom. You see here. You see, for this, the radiant glow, you see, a radiant is something related to the light, you see. Or they say the diligently seeking Buddha Dharma able to learn and retain the Dharani. A class, Dharani, sometimes referred to as a mantra. Or Dharani, sometimes referred as the mantra. But I think more than that, they got a few definitions. Dharani, Dharani. Let's see. Dharani, yes. Mantra. Besides mantra, I don't know how to say. Let's check for it. They got a few definitions. Okay, it's come up. Okay, let's take a look. A mystical incantation. It is recited in order to attain mindfulness, smriti, power, bala, and the wisdom prajna. Dharani is that which holds. Okay, this is what you mentioned. Is that which holds is a magical formula in the form of a mantra in the Sanskrit. The mystic mantra has the potential to hold the Buddha's teaching in the heart of him who recites. Yes, this is the definition I want, to hold. It's understandable with the Mandarin. Please write down. Dharani also means what? To hold the Buddha teaching in the heart for him who recites. Meaning to say that once you obtain the Dharani, you are able to remember all the Dharma. You see, I think especially Mr. Leong, sometimes people will mention they were skeptical that the origin of the Mahayana Sutra. Am I right, Mr. Leong? People will say that don't know what is the don't know where is the Mahayana Sutra and Abhidhamma originated. Some will suspect for it. Yeah, okay. So in Mahayana ourselves, they mention certain people. They got a few group of people. Then we know where does it come from. Number one is about the Dharani. Some people, after learning the Dharma, they can hold the Dharma very long time. Okay, so they are the one who inherit the Mahayana Sutra. Okay, second is the Deva. Deva lifespan is longer than us. Some they might present in the meeting during the Buddha speaking Dharma teaching, so they are present, so they can remember all this. You see, okay. I think for the Deva, they do not just present in the meeting of what we need. Remember during I was staying in Master Shenhua place. We heard that sometimes the Dharma talk, the Deva will come, but not everybody are able to see. So meaning to say that sometimes is the message is from the Deva, so the Deva pass the message to the medium. You see or not? But once you talk about the medium, the Buddhists they are very sensitive. They say, medium 即係跳童啦，唔係好正經咁 ，right 啦，the way they see，not 唔係好正經，OK so there's a two way Then one more way is sometimes some sutra they are kept like in Dragon Palace. So that's why sometimes people I also don't know how to convince people, you see, because according to Nagarjuna actually he himself go to the Golden Palace and reading all the minor sutra, then he come back and he try to memorize back. That is from Nagarjuna, you see. That's why sometimes the Theravada they insist Mahayana is not from a Buddhist, it's not Buddha saying. So that's a few things. Where is our originality? Basically, if you want to prove the originality of the Mahayana Sutra to the Theravada, you can't prove through Mahayana Sutra. Because I already don't believe Mahayana Sutra, then you use Mahayana Sutra to prove that it is exist. What is the logic? So in order to make you believe, I have to quote the teaching from the Theravada to prove the Mahayana. Am I right? So that is the logic problem, you see. So if you want to convince a Theravada, you have to be familiar with the Theravada. And I sometimes, yes, we're able to to get the pyramid, 610 pyramid, the emptiness, all this stuff is available in Theravada. So you make them acceptable for the Mahayana teaching. But if let's say we talk about the word Guan Yin, Da Bei Zhou, there's no way because you can hardly to see this in the Nikaya and Abhidhamma. Okay, okay. Next, let's take a look. Okay. What I mentioned because it's about the Dharani. Okay. Then you see, in addition, the diligent practice the meditation, 4 jhana, 4 formless concentration. Okay. And there's one more, the 4 infinite concentration. So, Mr. Leong, what is the 4 infinite concentration, the way you see? Mr. Leong?
Sifu, sorry, I do not know.
You do not know. Actually, it repeat already. You see, the four formless concentration is the four infinite. It repeat, you know. So I ignore it. Okay, so the four formless, I cannot remember the name. Is the
You see, for four formless and infinite, two different definition.
formless and infinite. No, both are same thing actually. They are same thing. For jhana, for formless concentration. So let me show you. Yeah, the four infinite actually is they are formless. Let me show you. Four formless. This is the name. I cannot remember in English. Four formless concentration. For formless attainment. So this is the name. I think I better look for Wikipedia. For formless absorption. Okay, for formless, sometimes we call it as arupa jhana also. Then I just want to show you the exact name. Arupa samapadi. Oh, okay. Oh, I remember already. The four infinite, Mr. Leong, four infinite is not four formless. That is metta, karuna, upeka. That one. Okay. 四无量 I confused
That means the four Brahma Viharas.
Yeah, Brahma Vihara. I confused already the Mandarin with it. Yeah. This is even more complicated. Let's see. So let me look for wiki for you. Okay, four formulas. Four formulas jhana. Wiki. Nine jhana. Yeah, this is the one. A class is here. Infinity of the space, infinity of the consciousness, no thingness, and then neither perception nor non-perception. Class, please copy down. This is the four formulas. Okay, four formulas. Class, basically, you need you need the kasina to attain the four formulas. There's no way to obtain four formulas through anapanasati. No way. You have to use the kasina. Infinity of space, infinity of a consciousness, no thingness, neither perception nor non-perception. Okay. Basically, in Buddhism, we encourage you to attain to the fourth jhana. That will be good enough already. Fourth jhana is the best to do the vipassana. Whereas for the four formless jhana, the samadhi is over strong already. Then you are unable to see, to do the observation. Okay. But again, class, no need to worry, because our problem is even the first jhana we don't know when to attain. So this one four formulas is too high already. Okay, but what we mentioned is because in Indian time, you see, people confuse. Some people they thought this one neither perception nor non-perception and the no nothingness there's already liberation. So that's why once Shakyamuni he start to learning, he also feel confused. How come some that say the nothingness or neither perception nor non-perception, they thought is the liberation. So once he practiced this jhana, after he come out from the jhana, he noticed the defilement still arise. So he know that this one the so-called highest at that in the contemporary It's not the highest. So he tried to recall the past life Vipassana experience and realize that. But anyway, practically in Myanmar, if you're able to attain the 4 formulas, you are encouraged to attain. Why you think so? Why? Mr. Leung, you think why?
Sifu, can you please ask the question again? Sorry,
Why they encourage you to try the 4 formulas? Why? Even though 4 formulas is too strong in samadhi in order to do the observation.
Because if you can what you call overcome these 4 formless concentrations, then the rest is very easy to attain.
I don't know. Well, there's it's almost an answer, but the real answer is because once you attain to the 4 formulas, it's just like you after study the STPM, then SPM will become very simple. So once you go through the 4 formulas, the 4th jhana will be more stable. So that's why they try to encourage you to go to the 4 formulas, but they discourage you to stay there long because the samadhi is over strong already. Okay, remember the neither perception nor non-perception, only Shariputra is able to use it for Vipassana only. None of the Buddha disciple can do like what Shariputra do. So
why is that so, Sifu? Why only Shariputra?
Oh, because Shariputra have a short wisdom to do that. Because neither perception nor non-perception is like what? Just like a bowl, you know. You see, like our plate, you see, sometimes have you ever experienced that you finish washing your plate, right? But you still feel some grease, right? You can feel the grease, but you cannot use the grease to cook, right? So this is something is very residual, very little only that is there, but you can't use it. So the neither perception nor non-perception is something you don't see the perception, but there's still a little bit there. So only the Shariputra with the strong wisdom can use it to do the Vipassana. The rest cannot. Okay, it says according to the Visuddhimagga. Okay, then a class, please write this. Yeah, okay. Please write down this. What are the 4 infinite concentration? Please write down this 4 Brahma Vihara. Infinite concentration is 4 Brahma Vihara. Brahma Vihara is like that. 4 Brahma Vihara. Now, Brahma Vihara, please write down. Sometimes they got a few names in Abhidhamma, we get a better. You see, for infinite mind, sometimes they use the word for immeasurable. Okay, or Brahma Vihara. Okay, so just write out a few different characteristics of Sanskrit. Apramana, apramana, apamana. Okay, next let's take a look. Finish not yet. Okay, so next let's take a look. We see the darkness, all this will be clear. Now you see a blazing wisdom, you see. So we know that is something also, once you talk about the wisdom, we prefer use the word all this blazing, light, shining, sparkle, all this word, you see. From this, the will of the self will disappear, you see. So for this ground, then next, the name is a little bit different, you say. Ground that is difficult to overcome, you see. This is the ground difficult to overcome, you see. So from here, they emphasize the superiority of a concentration, you see. Here again, they mention about the 4 truths and the 2 truths. 4 truths mean the 4 noble truths. And then the 2 truths. What is the 2 truths? Sally, what is the 2 truths? You don't know. Yeah. Mr. Leong, what is the 2 truths?
Tila.
Yes, 二谛 lah. You come here so frequent, you don't know 二谛精是 mean two truth 啊。谁咯 ？OK 二谛咯，二谛 mean two truth 啊。OK. So we penalize Sally to write the Chinese word for 1,000 times. Okay? No lah, joke only. Okay, please write down. Two truth mean 二谛 lah. So that is the meaning of. They are the conventional truth and the ultimate truth lah. So two truth 二谛 lah. 谛 mean the truth So Sally, please visualize the words until you dream of it tonight. Then you can always remember. You have to program yourself. Okay. Why 二谛 is not that is basically it's not that common. You discover the word of 二谛 only in the Mahayana Sutra. You remember, especially in the Prajna Paramita. If you talk about the three vehicle, in Nikaya and Abhidhamma, Abhidhamma does mention the two truths, but Nikaya no. So that's why. I mean, except you learn the Abhidhamma or the Mahayana Sutra, basically you wouldn't know two truths. Okay, next, let's take a look. Okay, you see here again, all form of the meaningless elaboration were completely eliminated. So remember, meaningless elaboration, mean is the 思论 So 思论 is something like avijja So this is the word. I think I prefer you to write the what okay, the meaning meaningless elaboration. I prefer you write the Sanskrit. Next time, once you communicate with the people, you can use these words. Okay. I remember, it's not talking nonsense. We keep on mentioning these words, meaningless elaboration in the Prajna Paramita. So let's see. Okay, we don't find it. C. Q. C. Okay. It's quite almost to the ignorance. This one meaningless elaboration. You see, I checked the dictionary, I cannot find. Okay. Prapancha. I remember the Sanskrit supposed to be prapancha. Yes, prapancha. Please write down prapancha. Prapancha. This is according to the Nagarjuna. You see, the words which conceal and cover the reality. See, it's just like avijja. It will conceal and cover the reality, which are nothing but subjective counterfeit and lead further into ignorance affliction. I like it very much. Actually, the world we are living is a subjective counterfeit, right? Okay, class, good words. Actually, we are staying in the subjective counterfeit. This is not the real one. I like this very much. Okay, but we take it as a truth. So we got a lot of defilement arise. Okay. But the second one is specifically speaking, which is this one is the wasteful talk okay, so this is the low level of the definition. We call it as a wasteful talk intellectual frivolity. But this one is the good Okay, next let's take a look. You see, you see, this one, Prajna Paramita can extinguish all the deviate. We call it as the deviate view. Okay, and then leads to the fundamental emptiness. Good fundamental emptiness. subjective counterfeit. Okay, 117. Can you look for me? What is the reference for this? Prajna Paramita can extinguish the meaningless elaboration. 117. Is it 大智度论哈？大智度论了哈 ，OK， 大智度论 ，OK， good 了哈 ，OK。So I think 大智度论is the commentary which brought from the Dragon Palace, I think. Okay, you even remember. So sometimes people okay, I remember there's one guy who do the study, archaeological study. He went to the Xi Northern West Indian. The museum in the Northern West, Afghanistan and Pakistan, they really got a type of the race. They name it as a dragon. Oh, a type of race is a dragon. So sometimes maybe the legendary it's not the dragon we think in Chinese. Not that one. I think maybe you have to go back to the Indian perception to understand maybe they are the races of the dragon. Possible. So always remember that. I think Elena know it very well because they always travel. You notice that the definition can be very from different places. We always just don't always use our Chinese way perception to see the whole world. Okay, next let's take a look. We see undifferentiated wisdom, we get it. Okay, you see the skillful mean is about to appear from fundamental emptiness. This is the definition of the skillful. So next paragraph, maybe Mr. Leung, you try to read. Your Wi-Fi is good today.
At such a time, although the Bodhisattvas can understand that everything is illusional, they do so relying on the power of the meditative mind and do not realize things as they really are. This is because the perceived objects seems to be real, the form of meaningless elaboration, and still arise in the same way. Until they have directly realized emptiness through prajna, by relying on the residual power of the wisdom that comes from emptiness, they cannot understand that things are without nature and illusional. This can be illustrated by an example, looking up at the sky and observing the clouds speeding past and the moon moving. We know that only the clouds are moving and not the bright moon. The immediate sensory experience, however, is that the moon is moving. Only after one's mental consciousness has passed judgment does one know that only the clouds are moving. The mental states of the Bodhisattvas prior to the fifth ground are analogous to this example. When seeing empty nature free from all forms, they see nothing. When they see the form of a thing, they are unable to simultaneously realize its empty nature. All along, they have been in this state of separating emptiness and existence. Each appears only without the other. Due to the continuous cultivation and realization of the wisdom that comes from empty nature, the power of prajna becomes stronger. So when seeing all existing things, they are able to free from the real form of meaningless elaboration. Thus, they can illuminate both illusory existence and emptiness, that is, the non-existence of an illusional inherent nature. Only in this way is there really no obstruction between the ultimate and the conventional, and no dualism between emptiness and existence. After going through practices without limit, this ground is reached. Thus, it is called difficult in overcoming. The previous direct realization of emptiness in the first ground marked the first barrier between the ordinary person and the sage. At this point, the second barrier, which can be said to be a barrier between Mahayana and the Mahayana, is crossed. Only by directly realizing that emptiness and existence are not dualistic, one will have neither disgust about birth and death nor happiness about nirvana. When one is free from both abiding in birth and death, and abiding in nirvana, one surpasses the mental state of the Mahayana sages.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Today you used to pronounce, you mystically pronounce the Hinayana to Mahayana, Mr. Liam.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, yes.
Mrs. Leong, thumb up, please, once you finish. Okay, before keep on, I would like to ask Mr. Leong. Mr. Leong, once you were staying in Theravada, do you have the perception that the world is not real? Okay, but through the vipassana, you will discover the real world behind the illusion. Do you have this type of perception in Theravada, Mr. Leong?
Yes, I do at the very beginning.
You see or not? So meaning to say that Mahayana, once talk about the prajna, is something quite related to the Theravada. See or not? So that's why some Mahayana monk, after they will choose Theravada finally, because all the teaching you can say is so familiar, even though the basic concept, I like it so much, especially the two truths. So I name earthy as a two truth. So we need to say that we are always staying in the illusion play, in the illusion. So Heart Sutra is a very important sutra that is a key to disclose the truth that actually there is a truth behind the illusion. Okay, but Elena just finished 7 lessons only. They got 2-3 more lessons. She disappeared already. I checked the attendance, or maybe you try to complete. Very good, okay, for the Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra is the key to mention all these things. Yeah, I want to say something, Elena.
Sifu, every time when it comes to the text, because sometimes when I'm working, I just put it on and I just listen only, is it?
Oh, okay.
So cannot catch up. Some of the Chinese words are so complicated.
Yeah. Sure. Because I think your 70% understandable is more on the normal conversation
Yes.
not this one communication and traveling. I think you can cook for 70% not this type of the Dharma.
When you come to this Chinese philosophical words, sometimes very difficult.
Yeah. I think if Elena, you really want to go through, you have to really go through the English text because some directly translate from the scholar. I think that will be the best. At least like this way to Buddhahood, I think you are more closer to the gist compared with you, the chanting. Chanting, I think maybe you're just 30% very, not many, but here you can really understand. Okay, let's continue, have a look. Anyway, here you can master it well. Then later on, wherever you go, will be easier for you. So class, you see, for this wisdom, you keep on mentioning, you see, a Bodhisattva, heaven can understand everything is illusional, but don't realize as they are because he haven't really eradicated the meaningless elaboration. Okay, so you see the fifth ground, you see, when seeing the empty nature free from all form, they see nothing. Meaning to say they are unable to simultaneously realize that it's an empty nature. So class, remember this empty nature always keep on mentioned, especially in Madhyamika. The Madhyamika, everything is in the empty nature, meaning to say they are subject by cause and condition. Next, let's take a look. Okay, here you see you see thus once the power of prajna becomes stronger, you see, so they come to the empty nature, the power of prajna becomes stronger, then he can illuminate both illusory existence and emptiness. That is the non-existence of an illusionary inherent nature, meaning to say that you are able to see both illusionary existence and the emptiness together. Class, remember, even though if one day we are able to go through the Nibbana, but once, in a daily life, we will still follow the conventional truth, the normal rule. If the people after some meditation, then they start to not abiding, without abiding by the normal rule, they used to be late and they will wear awkwardly attending your ceremony, the dinner, all these things. So something wrong already. Sometimes it does happen. Some people, they thought once they go to the mental state, they see everything is illusion. Then they don't follow the rule. So they will look quite a little bit mad. So sometimes like Zai Gong all this, sometimes they are actually have a good wisdom, you see, but they don't follow the normal rule. So they will just, behave a little bit abnormal. Sometimes they will have this way. But but in earthy, you better behave normally, or you don't say you learn from earthy. I don't want to recognize you. I don't want to acknowledge you because here we prefer normal people. Okay. The next, you see, previous direct realization of emptiness mark a first barrier between the ordinary person and the sage. You see, it's in the first ground. You see, so you see in Bodhisattva, once you're able to realize the emptiness, you are not the no ordinary people anymore. You are the sage already. So good lah. So anyway, I think it's the same. Basically, in Theravada, you are able to experience the Sotapan, you are considered sage. Even though one single thought only is already enough. For the Magga, one single thought of the Magga, one consciousness is enough to eradicate the self, then the doubt, the self and the doubt permanently. And you won't come out anymore. So people will label you as sage. So we'll go through further detail in Abhidhamma. So we don't want to So not necessarily to tell you everything, then nothing new in Abhidhamma already. We have to go through the whole process, the connective process. We can know in very detail. Okay. Okay, then next, when one is free from both abiding in birth and death and abiding in Nibbana, you're able to there, one surpasses the mental state of the Hinayana sages. Yes, if you're able, abiding in this, in the Nibbana, so you are different already. You are better than the Hinayana sages already. So let's see, 195. Okay, we still can go through one more paragraph. Okay, whose turn? Sally, your turn to read, please. The 6 in the graph.
The sixth is the ground of manifestation. The Bodhisattva with superior wisdom and in the concentration of complete extinction will see with clarity all Buddha Dhammas and the true nature of dependent origination. Such constant stillness and compassionate mindfulness surpasses that of the two vehicles. Practice in the sixth ground that is of manifestation emphasizes the superiority and completion of the paramita of prajna or wisdom. Having reached this point, the Bodhisattvas dwell in the concentration of complete extinction, in which faulty mental consciousness no longer arises. If the sages of two vehicles enter the concentration of complete extinction, they think they will have realized reality and have given rise to the thought of entering nirvana. This is the Hinayanist being drunk with the wine of samadhi, as described in the Lankavatara Sutra, which is also identical with, with the entrance into the concentration of complete extinction. In the Prajna Paramita Sutra, therefore, the Buddha advises the Bodhisattvas that to avoid falling into the small vehicle, they should not enter the concentration of complete extinction if the strength of their compassionate vow is inadequate. However, the Bodhisattvas of the sixth ground can enter this concentration supported by prajna and the great compassionate vow. In doing so, they intimately realize the nature of things and all Buddha Dhammas manifest clearly. Thus, this ground is called the ground of manifestation.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Actually, by highlighting the verse is really enough. You see, all the term, all the vocab is here. You see, no need to go through the long one actually. Uh, Okay, class, take a look at why it calls as the manifest, and the ground of the manifest. The reason is you realize the nature of thing clearly manifested. But one point is here, class here, he said, the compassionate is so important. If you don't have the strong compassionate, you will directly go to the total extinction, complete extinction. If you go to the complete extinction, meaning to say it's in the Nibbana already. If you are in the complete extinction in the Nibbana, you are no more caring and continue to save the living being. So that's why they said that it is so important that your compassionate must be enough in this stage. Okay, Mr. Leong, your question first, Mr. Leong.
Sifu, what is the gist or main essence of this Lankavatara Sutta?
Oh, it's about Tathagata Gaba. In Lankavatara Sutta, it mentioned that Tathagata Gaba meaning to say that it's just like a mirror, remember? The mirror is the Buddhahood. Once there is the accumulation of the dust, you just clear the dust. Then, the Buddhahood will be manifested. That is the Lankavatara Sutra. Okay.
Is there another point regarding this emptiness in this sutta?
No. He doesn't use the emptiness, but but for them, they say that the Buddhahood itself is the emptiness. They will explain in this. If you ask whether there's emptiness, they will say that the Buddhahood is finally the attainment is no more emptiness. You must attain Buddhahood, and the Buddhahood exists in certain extent. It will not be emptiness. Okay, remember, that is the perception of the Tathagata Gaba. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Buddhahood is something must be exist. It's not nothing. It's different from the Madhyamaka. Okay. So Mr. Leong, let me ask you back. Lankavatara. What is the country you think origin from the sutra?
China.
No. Lanka. Where is the Lanka?
Sri Lanka.
Yes, Lankavatara. So in Mandarin we call it as Leng Qie Jing. Actually, English works even better. Lankavatara. So we know that from Leng Qie, from Sri Lanka, supposed to be. Okay, yes, Elena.
Sifu, maybe you can stop the recording. This one is a question that actually two persons has told me that because they are above 70s already, these two ladies. So they keep telling me that, like my neighbor, every day she saw me chanting because my outer window and her side she can see through.
You want me to stop recording? I stop now. Okay.